Happy Sunday! Welcome to Dear Black Girl, Season 3, Episode 5. We are thrilled that you have tuned in today. In fact, we are grateful.
That's right, Peyton. We are grateful. That's exactly what today's show is all about. Gratitude. What does gratitude mean to you, Peyton?
My definition of gratitude is being thankful for things in your life. Gratitude could be towards a person or an object. You can also be grateful for life itself. Not to mention, you can also be thankful for your elders and family. Also, gratitude is an act of showing that you're thankful too. Like if you're thankful for your parents, show that you're thankful for your parents by listening to them and loving them. How do you define it, Michaela?
I like your definition. For me, gratitude is when you love someone and feel thankful to have them by your side. I also think gratitude is when you get a gift or someone gives you something and you appreciate it and you show that you appreciate it. That is gratitude for me.
I love your definition as well, Michaela. It really powers this session today. The past 2 years has been very tough for just about everyone. And during a global pandemic, and the consequences of all the heavy things happening in our world has left a lot of people feeling weighted and sad.
I definitely agree with that. That's the thing about gratitude. It matters most in difficulty, but it's often most difficult to cultivate when you're feeling low. Today we are chatting with some incredible women and girls who have overcome tough life situations and somehow remain thankful and grateful.
Yeah, I also agree. There's going to be some amazing women and girls in today's show. This show is going to remind us all that gratitude and difficulty can coexist. Before we get started with today's show, please welcome our beautiful founder, Caliyah A. Banney.
Yay, excellent job, girls. Thank you so much for introducing this important topic. You two have done a wonderful job of setting the stage for today's conversation on gratitude. As always, I want to remind our viewing audience, please share this broadcast. There is someone in your community who needs to hear this conversation. And even more than that, there is someone in your community who needs the tools to have this conversation in their homes with their own children. And so please share it. If you are watching on YouTube, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel. If you are viewing us on Facebook, we ask that you would like our Daughters and Vessels page. Many of us are preparing for Thanksgiving dinners here in the United States, followed by maybe a little shopping on Black Friday and on Cyber Monday. But I want to talk to you a little bit today about Giving Tuesday, a global effort that supports nonprofits and organizations that are doing good in their communities. I'd like to ask you to consider giving to Dear Black Girl this year. With any donation amount, you make it possible for us to produce a stellar experience for each Dream Team member and create a community for our girls where they are seen, where they are heard, and where they are validated. If you are willing to join with us this year, please support Dear Black Girl by visiting www.dearblackgirl.us and sponsor a girl today. And in the spirit of this show, we are grateful and we will be thankful for every donation and contribution that comes our way. I'm not going to be before you long. You guys know this show belongs to the girls. So let's get started. I'd like to bring up Margelle and Alexis, who will lead our very first segment.
Thanks, Coco. We are excited to get started with today's show. Our first guest is Miss Christine Love. Her story is one of grit, soul, and God's grace. The purpose of her testimony is to inspire someone else to hold on.
From homelessness to foster care, Ms. Love has experienced the very worst of life and not only survived, but thrived.
Miss Love, first, what a great last name you have. It's the perfect bow on your amazing story. Can you share a bit of your overcoming story with us?
Sure, I will share some of my story with you, but I just want to say I'm so proud of both of you and all of you young ladies. You are exactly what we need. And so you won't have to heal from all of those things that myself or some others have had to at 40 and 50 and 60 years old, because you're doing the work right now. So I want you to do this for yourself, okay? Clap it up for yourself. My name is Christine Carter Love, and I am against all odds. And what that means to me is that I am a walking, talking, living, breathing statistical nightmare. Did you hear what I said? I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing statistical nightmare. On the night of Christmas Eve, 1988, I lost my mom from HIV/AIDS. I was 7 years old and she was 24 years old. She had me at 16. Okay, so she was a teenage mom. She did the very best that she could, but I was raised during a time when crack, have you heard of crack? It took out a lot of families, especially in the Black and brown community. Okay, so I grew up during that era. I lived in multiple foster homes with strangers. I lived on the streets. I had some major trauma happen to me, and I stand before you because of God's grace. And caring adults like Miss Cordelia, I had a circle of caring adults like her who pushed me and empowered me and supported me, and they really insulated me so that I could become successful. And so that's why I'm here today, right? I'm here to share what we've been through, know that it doesn't define us. We are victors, not victims. And the one thing that I can tell you is God is first. God is primary, right? And so I'm grateful that God entrusted me with trouble so that I could then use it for something positive. That's one of the things that I have gratitude about, that I was able to overcome it and then assist other young people and not so young people in overcoming as well. Does that make sense?
Okay. I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you. My condolences to your mother. May her soul rest in peace.
Thank you.
And I totally agree with you. The type of community that a person grows up in will like influence them heavily. And I'm just so glad that you overcame this trauma like
yes
throughout your life.
And let me help you with something. It's not it's not past tense. I overcome it every day, right? I have a regimen, I have a strategy, I have a support system, because it's something that I have to deal with every single day. But I hope that my light shines and that you see that it could have taken me out, but it did not, because God is faithful.
Yes, he is.
Miss Love, the past 2 years have left many of us feeling overwhelmed and burdened emotionally.
Yes.
How did you manage your emotions while enduring so much trauma in your life?
That's a very good question, Miss Alexis. So I lived in New Jersey. I'm born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City. And during the pandemic, being forced to stay inside really was not conducive for me. It didn't work. I couldn't stay inside. suffer from trauma, not be able to walk or hear myself think, or be totally fearful of getting sick myself or losing one of my children or loved ones. So anxiety was rampant. And so what I did for me is I took my family to another state to the south. We live in Georgia now, so that I could hear myself think, right? I wanted to get out of a fast city, a noisy city, a city with murders every day. I couldn't be in that in the middle of a global pandemic on top of the trauma that I already had, right? That's just piling things on top of things on top of things. And so we were able to come to Georgia, focus clearly, connect with therapists and a support system and church, and just have a well-rounded strategy to deal with death and dying and COVID, and the realities of a global pandemic.
Yes, I see that you wanted to like move to a more positive environment so
Yes.
that it would help you with your anxiety and
Hmm.
the problems that you faced. You wanted
Yes.
to like surround yourself with positive things so that it may help you.
Yes, you have the power to dictate your environment, right?
Yes.
So if a place, and this is for you young ladies, if you walk into a room and you get that icky feeling in your stomach, that's called intuition and instincts, right? It's called gut, it's called discernment. Get out of there, because it's not good for you, and you don't have to explain yourself to anybody.
Yes, my next question for you is what is your advice to a young black or brown girl who feels that she has nothing to be thankful for this Thanksgiving?
Um, I don't have any advice. I have empathy. There's a difference, right? I know how it feels to want to not be here, to in your life, to make the pain go away. What I would want to do is ask her a few questions. Why? What's going on? And let's self discover together what she may be thankful for, right? Um, you know, for me, things are moving fast in the world, but I slow down and I connect with nature, right? I watch the clouds, I watch the birds, I go to the lake, I connect with nature so that I have something to be grateful for other than myself and my family, but it's something bigger than me. And so I would just extend empathy to the young lady and listen to her first. And then maybe our conversation, she'll discover on her own something that she's grateful for. Does that make sense?
My next question for you is, can gratitude be cultivated? And if so, how?
Absolutely. I believe that it can. You see these sticky notes here? Have you ever seen sticky notes? I'm sure you have. Um, I have these. This one actually says, I'm grateful for the daughters, especially my own. And y'all better not look at my bad nails. I need a manicure. Um, but I put sticky notes everywhere of things that I'm grateful for in my home so that I'm reminded visually. I've written it down, so that's one check. I say it out loud, that's another check. And then I see it repeatedly so that I'm rewiring my brain to be totally positive. So you can cultivate and reverse negative experiences. Brainwash yourself into something positive.
Yes, because sometimes, like when I'm down, I'd like go into deep thinking about things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for having a family. I'm
Hmm.
grateful for living. There's a lot of things that I'm grateful for that I can't even count.
Yep.
So, are gratitude and thankfulness the same thing? And why do we need them to thrive?
I think that that's a trick question. What do you ladies think? Are they the same thing? Come on, Alexis, you're on mute.
Honestly, possibly they are the same thing. I feel like they have like the same meaning and the same, I don't know what the word is to call it, but I feel like they have like a connection. Like, feel like it makes us all feel like some type of way.
And so, Alexis, let me tell you that there is no right or wrong answer. You don't need to talk to us about it until one of us agrees and then you know that you're right. You don't need any external validation, right? If that's what you think it means, then you say that with your chest up and your head back, and this is what I think it is.
Yes.
How about you?
I feel that gratitude is just like a way how you express how you're thankful. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like the connection between those two.
I like that one as well. Tell me something that you're both thankful for.
Well,
You said
um,
family.
yeah, I'm thankful for family and life.
Yes.
I'm thankful for my family and my friends and just thankful for everything I have and thankful for God because if it wasn't for him, I honestly wouldn't be here. And I'm
I'm hanging out with y'all. I'm hanging out with
thankful for
these
like
daughters
everything.
right here.
I'm just
Yes,
thankful for everything.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
My question for you is how can a young girl who lives in an environment with negative people or emotions keep herself positive?
I think that the environment is really important. And so, if there is a choice to get out of an unhealthy environment, my answer is to not be in that environment. So often, we're conditioned to take on these difficult environments and we have to adapt. No, we shouldn't be in bad environments. But if you don't have a choice, have a support system, have your personal relationship with God, you have your communication, you ask for God to give you strength and direction. You have your gratitude list. You start each day with that. You brainwash yourself into positive. You're posting those post-its all over every place. Um, but you are totally canceling, it's called cognitive dissonance. You are totally disconnecting with the reality of your environment. And sometimes that's necessary and required if you don't have the option to get out of a situation.
Yes, I feel that an environment that a person is living in really defines their character.
It's true.
And most times, like how I deal with negativity is that I just ignore it. I try to look on the bright side. If I'm like having bottled up emotions, I'll talk about it and it'll make me feel better. And I just do the things that I love, like art, reading, listening to music, and watching television. So, my
I like
next
that.
question.
I like that.
So, my next question for you is what resources would you suggest for a young black or brown girl who is struggling with her mental health but doesn't have a supportive environment that can get her help?
Absolutely. So, number one, I offer myself as a resource. Christine Carter Love. Um, um, you can follow me on Christine. What's my name? Chris Carter Love on Facebook. At Chris Carter Love. I have to find my own information, but I have clinicians and team members and colleagues who are professional clinicians who can help you, who can advocate for you, who can offer resources for mental health, physical health. One of the things poverty results in lack of health insurance, which results in poor health outcomes, especially for Black and brown girls. And so it's really important that our young ladies know that they have a resource, and myself, as well as this show and so many others, that we're here to be a lifeline.
For those who sit at Thanksgiving tables this week with perpetrators and adults who have harmed them, what advice would you share?
You know, I that's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. Um, you need an ally. You need one caring adult that could hold space with you in that environment if you have to be there. Because you get re traumatized by being around the perpetrator. Sometimes you don't have to be around the person. Someone else could wear the cologne, let's say it's a male perpetrator, or the deodorant of your attacker, your abuser, right? And that will trigger you. So you need to be in a healing process, and it's not okay to subject young girls and young women to protect themselves when there are other caring adults who are around who should serve as protective factors. So you need an ally, somebody that you can talk to and say, hey, this happened to me, this is my truth. um, I'm just annoyed and offended that the perpetrator would even be there. But it's real.
It is real. And I just think that any like young girl going through this, they should just find some help, whether it's from their teachers or they just need to talk to authorities so that it would get them out of this, because
Right.
it's not healthy to be in a abused family and so on.
But and I agree, but it's easier said than done. So many young people, especially young girls, feel guilt and shame. Not just young girls, young males also feel guilt and shame. You take on this as your own, as if you were the perpetrator. The perpetrator has brainwashed you into believing that adults won't believe you. There are some adults who actually won't believe you. And so it's very confusing and paradoxical. And I've seen and borne witness to people who stood up and spoke their truth, and nothing happened. So I would insert to pray, right? I would insert and instruct all young people to pray, because God sees our tears and God is not pleased with abuse. And so, as a young person or as a woman who's not as strong enough to defend or protect myself, God saw what you did to me and He will handle you accordingly, right? That's for God, that's for our daddy to do for us, to protect us. So that was a very loaded question. I think that it deserves further conversation and strategy, because it shouldn't be on you as the young lady to do anything. Uncle Johnny shouldn't be there. The ex-husband who punched you in the eye shouldn't be there, right? The woman who spat in your face shouldn't be there. We have to create safe spaces for our young girls and women.
Yes, I totally agree. My last and final question for you is, um, your work is it's so important in transformatives. How can our viewers stay in contact with you?
Um, I am just getting back onto this scene. I took the last 2 years to really do my work and healing, last several years, but really during COVID. And so I will get some direct contact info out, but for now, just follow me at Chris Carter Love at Facebook, Instagram, and I guess Twitter. I'm going to get there. Y'all are going to help me get my social media together.
Wow. What an amazing journey Miss Love has experienced, and how incredibly powerful that she continues to pay it forward through her work and her life. Ultimately, gratitude can be cultivated through service. Thank you so much for that lesson, Miss Love.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Pay it forward. I love the work that I do. I currently serve as the executive director of a treatment facility for men in Georgia, and developing programs that shift and change their lives is a major blessing. I'm just blessed to be doing what God called me to do, and helping others. Service is definitely the way that you can heal.
Yes, thank you so much for making time to talk with us. This was such an eye-opening session. Our next segment is going to be such a great conversation. To lead it, please welcome Morgan and Carlene.
Thanks, Margelle. We are excited today to chat with Caliyah Ross and her mom, Miss Latoya Heyward.
Caliyah Ross is a 7-year-old third-degree burn survivor who's fun, lively, and smart. Caliyah's passion is to mentor young kids through storytelling. She loves to share fashion tips and motivational messages that help build confidence in adults and children. Her mission is to transform, inspire, and offer help to children globally.
Caliyah is joined today by her mom, Miss Latoya Heyward. Miss Heyward is a writer and inspiration content distributor with the powerful She Thorough brand, where she inspires and empowers. Welcome to the show, Miss Heyward and Caliyah. Caliyah, can you share a bit about your injury story with us?
Sure. So I went through a third-degree burn. It was very crazy, but I was very independent, strong about that. This it begins when I was just at my uncle's, just talking with my aunt, while my two uncles just inside cooking some nice things for dinner. I went there to get some tissue, and that's when I saw the fire. I had told my uncles to come and get it, because at that time I was in the kitchen just getting some tissue, and I just saw fire just coming up. I went outside to tell my aunt. Then it takes place by my uncle getting the pot and just accidentally just kind of spilled it out. And me and my aunt, we had went to the hospital, and just like we had to take medication and stuff. And yeah.
That is such an inspirational story. I can't even imagine going through something like that. Miss Heyward, can you tell us about the moment you were made aware of this incident? How did your heart and mind process the information?
Very, very challenging. At the time of the incident, I was in the hospital, and so the incident occurred on Saturday, April 14th, and I was hospitalized on April 13th. So I didn't actually find out until I was released from the hospital that Sunday, on the 15th, and literally left one hospital to go to another. They informed me, my parents, that it had been an accident, and I walked into the room. At that point, she was already in induced coma. Yep, and very, very challenging. One of the hardest things I've had to endure in life, but we made it through.
It was something that it was like a mission that you had to face, but something challenging. It's not like any kind of mission, something that you have to face through that can inspire somebody else that got their burn, and like just producing up and upper to love that hate that you had got. But as much as times you have you faced through it, you start realizing that it was for a reason.
So, Caliyah, can you share a bit about your mental and emotional process after waking up from your month-long coma? How did you process what had happened to you?
What I processed is that, like, I just saw everybody surrounding me and, like, what is going on? Since I had processed that, I was like, well, is this how it really feels? To get third-degree burn? It was something challenging that I had faced, but I got through it.
That's amazing. You pushed through, and no matter the challenge, you still went on, and that's so inspiring. So, Miss Heyward, I wanted to ask you your advice to people who just skip that process and run towards the silver lining in painful situations. Is there something to be gained by sitting in the pain?
Say that again.
So, do you have any advice for people who skip the process and just run towards the silver lining in painful situations? Is there something to be gained by slowly going through the process and sitting through the pain?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, I feel like, and this is something that I teach Caliyah all the time. Things are just going to happen in life. Some things that we can't even avoid, you know. And sometimes while we're going through that process, so I can speak for myself, you know, those days I had to go and watch her in that coma, and I'm praying that she'll come out of it, and you know, what will people think, and you know, how is she going to react and be physically, mentally. You know, I know initially when it happened, because it occurred in her face, we were worried about if she will be able to see, you know. And so sitting in that hospital day after day, just in that hospital bed, just praying that my baby wake up, you know, she go through all her surgeries, that, you know, everything will be okay. It was just a part of the journey. And I think that each day I gained strength. I definitely, my faith was restored, and man, I mean, it was just something. It was a test that I just had to go through that I couldn't face. And I feel like people, when they go through things in life, they just have to, you know, you have to embrace it. And it's not easy. Like Caliyah said, it's truly challenging. But when you come out on the end of it, you know, like, okay, God literally put me through that. He said, you know, he gave us that situation for a reason. And this is why we do what we do. You know, our goal is just literally to inspire other people to be confident, no matter what you look like, no matter your scars. You just have to embrace it.
Caliyah, our society places a large emphasis on outer appearance. How have you been able to embrace yourself and accept your beauty after your accident?
How am I faced to accept my beauty is because that since I've been through so much things, that I understand that was for a reason, but like since I have my family surrounding me and saying I'm so beautiful, that just let me know that I know that I can face through everything that happens without even letting it happen. So it can get higher and higher, so I can know this.
I agree. It's hard, but to know that you have family there, because you said that everybody was there and you didn't know what was going on. To know that family is there, nothing else would really matter.
Absolutely. Our family is amazing.
So, Ms. Heyward, did you ever feel a sense of guilt as a mom? For many people, they find it difficult to be thankful or grateful because they're holding a lot of unforgiveness. How did you forgive yourself for the accident?
Well, my family, we come from a really big family. We are really close. It was an accident, and so there was never ever really no guilt. I think the hardest thing for me was just kind of figuring out what life would be like after the fact. Kind of trying to understand or figure out what the unknown, because I didn't know what it would be. And me going through something this tragic at that moment in my life, I just didn't know. And I think that was the biggest part that was hard and challenging. But as far as guilt, as far as forgiveness, that came easy for me because that's how I was reared. My parents, they are super loving people, giving people. And so my family, we're just really close. We're really, we always support each other, and we always encourage one another. We always help one another. And so, forgiveness always was instilled in me. And so that was just something that really came easy. I think the hardest part as a mom was just going into the unknown and trying to figure out what life will be like. And I mean, Caliyah, she helped me build my confidence. I struggled sometimes, just feeling like, am I doing the right thing? When it comes to like her different surgeries and laser surgeries, just making different decisions, I really had to search within and pray, a lot of prayer, keep God first, and just figure out, as a mom, I was definitely challenged and I had to step it up. But forgiveness came easy.
So inspiring. Caliyah, what advice do you have for young girls who feel like life has been unfair to them?
The advice I have for these young girls is that you gotta face the challenges that you have put into it, because sometimes it's a reason for it. It's just not for a purpose. It's for something that you can encourage to keep going up and up, to get better at these things. Like, cause say if that like you're failing things and you're just super upset. You gotta keep encouraging yourself going up and up to get better and better at these things.
Absolutely.
Cause sometimes you're not gonna feel like that all the time though. But you have to face through all those challenges. It doesn't matter if you get bad grades. As long as you have people by your side, you will understand that it's not something that will be challenging. It's something that you just have to keep practicing on and working on. Because sometimes it's not going to be easy, but
Absolutely.
It's still going to be a challenge to face through.
Gotta keep going. Right, baby? Yeah.
You encourage yourself, and that really is the great thing there, Caliyah.
Thank you.
And the fact that you just kept going, it's amazing. So, Miss
You
Heyward,
girls are amazing.
Thank you so much. Miss Heyward, if you did have any shame, what role did it play in this entire process for both you and Caliyah?
Love. Love. Is the greatest thing, and just constantly leading with love. As Caliyah spoke about, we were just truly blessed to have family around us. I remember being in that burn unit day after day, and I would see people that were hospitalized because of other, burn accidents, and some of them didn't even have family. And here we were, where the family room was packed with our family members. Family came from all over. People sent food, people sent cards, people sent gifts, and seeing other people who were there alone in that hospital, having to go through even worse accidents than Caliyah burn injury.
Okay. You can't take love away.
Right. I realized in that moment, like, Caliyah, we are truly, truly loved. To just have this family support is huge. Sometimes we get caught up on the tangible things, but the intangible things like time, love, those things that really, really matter, that's just deeply rooted in us. And like I said, just being around and seeing other people that didn't have family members or people to come visit them, I owe that allowed me to teach Caliyah, the power of being appreciative and grateful, because what we have as far as family and everything is definitely important. And we're blessed to have that, because everyone don't.
So, Ms. Heyward, what advice do you have for moms, specifically who are parenting daughters who have endured traumatic life experiences?
Have grace on yourself.
One of these things is not your fault.
I know, right? I'm telling you, she encouraged me, because I could be really hard on myself, but she just said everything is not your fault. And so as a mom, we put so much pressure on ourselves just to be perfect, even wanting our kids to be perfect or just to. And so I had to literally, this thing don't come with a manual on how to be a great mom. That book don't exist on a bookshelf, and you're going to be, life is going to hit you with things. And so you got to learn how to pivot. And in doing so, grace, you have to have a lot of grace, and just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Grace and keep going.
I love how you said to keep grace and how there's no book on how to be a great mom, because you want to have a straight path, but in reality, life is going to throw you curveballs.
Absolutely.
You have to have exactly the grace to go around that and to know that it might be challenging, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Self-care, sometimes we can just get so wrapped up in as moms in that we forget ourselves. And I know that happened to me. So I hated leaving her. I felt so much, I felt guilty about when I had to go run an errand and leave the hospital. I felt like I needed to be there, at every moment, because maybe that one time I left to go do something, that would be the moment where she came out of her coma or whatever. And so I had to just learn that, accept the help. Again, truly thankful for my family that was there doing that hard, doing those rough times, and just have grace on yourself. We can't do it all. And face your fears, face it. Can't run from it either.
So as we approach the Thanksgiving holiday, Miss Heyward, many are finding it difficult to be grateful. What advice do you have for people who don't feel very thankful or grateful this year?
It's challenging because you can't, people come from all walks of life. And I learned that, just because it came easy for me to be thankful and grateful because of my upbringing and, where I'm at in life and everything, it's not always going to be easy for other people. Right. And so, there's so many, seek help. There's so many things out there, self-help, motivational, words of affirmation. That's something that Caliyah and I do all the time. Just building yourself up and just seek help. Again, there's no book on how to be thankful, but there's so many tools out there for people to go and different resources where people can go and just try to find some inspiration. I feel like in everyone's life, there's something. It's just something that will allow you to just keep going. And so search deep within. Self-care, again, will help. Take walks, meditate, so you got to search within yourself in order to get to a point of just having this gratitude for other people. You just have to.
We're sure our viewers at Dear Black Girl will love to learn more about you two and follow your journey. Where can they find you after today's show?
Where can you find today's show is
on social media or where they can contact us.
Instagram.
What's your Instagram?
Maybe Pretty Thorough and
at She Thorough. You can also email at Facebook She Thorough. So She Thorough across all of our media platforms. Pretty Thorough for Caliyah. She's Thorough with an S on Twitter. And then my email is she's SHESTHORO@gmail.com. You can always email us, ask us questions. prettythorough@gmail.com is Caliyah's. So young girls that's out there that just want to ask Caliyah for some advice or, she loves makeup. She loves to dance. She loves to give motivational messages. So we started doing that on social media. And so I just definitely recommend just seek encouragement however you can get it, because we all need it.
Also
Snapchat, yeah. Absolutely.
I love giving motivational messages too, and the fact that Caliyah is so incredible. It's it's so inspiring. And we are all inspired by your commitment to recovery emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. Your future is so bright, Caliyah, and we are thankful for you sharing your time with us.
We are thankful for you guys, and this platform is so amazing. You girls are the future.
As we close our show, please welcome Audrey and our newest DBG Dream Team member, Brianna.
Thanks, Carlene. What a great show today. As we approach Thanksgiving holiday in the United States, these conversations remind us that life does not have to be perfect to be appreciated.
That's right, Aubrey. As we close today's show, we hope you would take some time to really think about the things you are grateful for. For me, it's as simple as it can be. I'm grateful for my wonderful family and friends, for Dear Black Girl and being here with you guys today, and for everything.
I love that, Brianna. I am grateful for all our Dear Black Girl members, viewers, supporters, and guests. I know you won't believe this, but we only have one more episode this season. We are taking a short break next Sunday so we can be with our families. But tune in on Sunday, December 5th for our season 3 finale. We are grateful to have another 6 weeks with you all.
Thanks for tuning in today, friends. Wishing you a beautiful week. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.